Welcome to training day 102, core before, gaining some more. Our training protocol today will include 6 core focused movements, which we'll complete for 60 seconds, separated by 15 seconds in between. We'll go through 5 working sets, separated by a minute of rest. Movement number 1 is an archer plank. We're gonna widen the position of our arms to where we feel comfortable, which might be a little bit wider than the shoulder width. We're gonna ensure that we have tension and rigidity through our midsection. We're gonna elevate our body into that plank position, and we're going to be scaling side to side as far as we feel comfortable for the entire duration of the set. Movement number 2, a pretzel leg lower. We're gonna anchor our hands above our head with something sturdy that we can hold on to, like a sofa or a door frame. We're gonna push our lower back into the floor, and we're gonna cross our legs as if we're creating a pretzel, and then we're gonna slowly allow our legs to descend into that leg lowering position, ensuring that our lower back does not come up and off the floor, and then back up again and release. You may find that there's a much more reliance on some of the hip tissue compared to if your legs were in that straightened position. Movement 3 is a hip hinge with slight internal rotation of the hip. So we know that the core is from the shoulders down to the part of our butt here. So we're gonna work it in its entirety. We're gonna pattern that hip hinge position or that deadlift position with our hips slightly in internal rotation. Now this is gonna look a little bit different for everybody. Internal rotation for some of us might just be kind of straight if we tend to be really in that externally rotated position. And for some of us, it might be a tiny bit of that internally positioned angle of the hip. The important thing here, regardless of where you are, is to ensure that you're pressing out through the heels. Pushing out through the heels is going to ensure that our knee, ankle, and hip stay aligned in the way that we want them to stay aligned. We're then going to descend into that deep hip hinge position, standing back up, squeezing our glutes, and back down again. We can load this either with implements on the side or implement down here within the middle, or body weight just focusing on the isometric of pressing apart and engaging everything that you can. Movement 4 is either going to be a plank pike, or it's going to be a dolphin plank. Movement 5 is going to be a partial curl up with hip abduction and adduction. From here, push your lower back into the floor. Imagine there's a string on your chest and have your chest pulled upward. Hands are going to go behind your head to ensure that the neck is not fatigued. You're going to then bring the knees just above the hip. And from this position, we're going to open or abduct the hips, and then we are going to adduct the hips. All the whilst we move through the hip area, we're ensuring that the trunk stays rigid and doesn't allow any give throughout the movement. Movement 6 and our final movement is going to be another hip hinge position. We're going to load ourselves unilaterally on one side, so our ab muscles have to stop from going into lateral flexion. Very similar to if we were holding a baby carriage or groceries. We're going to descend into our deep hip hinge position, not allowing that load to pull us into that side. We're going to perform half of the allotted time loaded on one side, and then half the allotted time loaded on the other side. If today's training protocol allowed you to put core before gaining some more, then give the video a thumbs up, have a great day, and subscribe to the channel.